everyone, and welcome again to my channel. My name is Emefa, and today I bring to you another bookish video. So I'm going to be doing a Q&A for my 2-year anniversary here on Booktube. I know 2 years came by so fast, and I asked that you send in questions to be able to film this Q&A, and I am overwhelmed by the questions sent to me. It's almost 30 questions, and I don't want this video to be long, so let me just stop talking. Let's get right to it. Favorite non-black writers: Khalid Husseini and Lisa Jewell. What's your motivation for reading books? I don't know if this is answer enough, but I just love reading, and I think that is enough motivation for reading books. Has the start of your book channel changed your view of life and influenced how you live now? I think the start of this channel has changed my view on life. I am more tolerable now. I have ears for other people's opinions and views. Booktube has a lot of dissenting views. We all read almost the same books, and we all have different views on these books we read. And if you're someone who's not tolerable, you're going to be attacking people in comments. And so yes, it has tamed me a lot. I wasn't someone who was very tolerable, someone who was very patient, but this community has tamed me. I am more tolerable now, and I respect people's views. Which books are your favorites and why? Okay, so I think this person wants to know which book formats are my favorites and why. E-copies or hard copies. So I'm a hard copy type of person, and for someone who's creating a physical library, of course, physical books should be your favorite. And there's just this whole feeling with owning a hard copy of a book. I do not know how to explain it. How can you help us love reading? Because some of us read just textbooks. Maybe we can also develop that passion. Okay, this is a funny one, but it's a serious one. I think you should know yourself. You should know the genre you like, if you're a thriller person or a romance person, and I strongly encourage that you go in for books that are smaller, books that do not have many pages, so that you'll be able to read fast enough. And also you should set a target for yourself. If you know you're a slow reader, you set a target for yourself. Say in a week I want to read 10 pages of this book, and then every day you hope to read 2 pages. And I also encourage that you go in for short stories, because they have different stories in the book. It's easier to read, and you also do not get bored when reading. What has been your biggest challenge on Booktube? So when I joined, Booktube is pretty serious on copyright issue. I remember posting this video where I used the song, and when it went live, my video was struck. It was copyright struck, and I was scared, because if you get 3 strikes from YouTube, your account is suspended, and I didn't want that. And the other thing was, when I posted the video, the views in that hour was crazy. I hadn't seen that number of views in so long, and I had to take it down, re-edit and repost, and then the views dropped drastically, which wasn't the best feeling at all. How has your journey on Booktube been so far? So far, so good. Let me see. So that's just by the way, but the journey has been fantastic. I'm enjoying myself, honestly. What's the favorite book you've read so far? I read this book either in 2020 or in 2021, and it's The Invisible Life of Adilaru. I remember in that year, I kept talking about that book. Any chance I got, I had to talk about The Invisible Life of Adilaru. I think the book is unique, although there's some mixed reviews, but I think the positives outweigh the negatives, and I love that book so much. I think it's my favorite book, my all-time favorite book, or will be part of my all-time favorite books. But I just can't stop talking about it, and I just can't stop thinking about it. Why did you start your YouTube channel? I love to read. and if you're my friend, you know that anytime I read, I want to talk about the books I've read. So I thought to myself, YouTube is such a big platform, and fortunately for me, there are people on YouTube who also talk about books. So I just thought, why don't I join this community of book lovers, of book talkers, of readers? That was the birth of my YouTube channel. What's your favorite bookstore in Ghana? I'd have said Vidya, but now it's Books and Roots on IG. What's your process for choosing the next book to read? I've stopped TBRs altogether because I realized I'm a mood reader. I go with the flow, and so I do not have a planned schedule, a plan as to what to read in a month, because I realize when I do so, I end up reading something different. What's your favorite book genre and why? I'm a thriller girl. I have been saying this a lot on my channel, and the reason being that I think when I first started reading, or when I was introduced to reading, I was reading more of the thriller genre, because the books I used to get from my mother were usually thriller biased. So I think that is where the love sprang out from. When did you develop a love for reading? Can you describe the feeling? I started reading class 2, class 3, class 4. That was around the time I developed my love for reading. My mother usually got Peggy Opon's books, and when she's done reading, she'll pass it to me, and then we discuss. And the feeling, I'd say, is surreal. It's actually out of this world. You just know you get excited and you're curious and you want to know more, and it's just a whole feeling that I can't seem to express well. What aspect of your life has changed the most because of books? I'd say my social life. Elaborate on how reading or books affected the change. So let me just say this. I never thought that I'd meet a group of people that would always talk about books. We talk about nothing outside books. Who would have thought that I'll be part of a book club? Who would have thought that I'll be part of a book community? Who would have thought that I'd go for book events and be excited about it and give my all to that cause? That has helped me a lot socially, because when I'm around these people, all I do talk about is books. And myself, when I'm around these people, I don't feel introverted at all when I'm around people who love books. Have you ever regretted reading a book, or have you been disappointed after reading a book, and why? I have been disappointed a lot of times. I've regretted reading books a lot of times. The reason being that I get disappointed when I feel like the storyline wasn't executed so well, when I feel like the author did little to no research, especially when you're talking about sensitive issues or when you're tackling sensitive issues. I'm not someone who likes to DNF books. I think I give books second chances. I want to know how it ends eventually. Is there any change? Is there any turnaround? And then I end up reading the book. I'm like, okay, so I should have stopped long before. I think this is a habit I'll need to cultivate, the habit of DNFing books. I'll need to cultivate that as soon as possible. Did you ever feel like giving up? Yes. How many times did you want to stop? So many times. Even before filming this, I just wondered, I just thought to myself, why do you even need to do this Q&A in the first place? What kept you going? The fact that there are people who are subscribed to my channel, and there are people who watch my videos. Even if the views aren't encouraging, I know even if it's just one person who's watched the video, it means there's someone out there who appreciates what I do. What were your expectations of running a YouTube channel versus the reality of running a YouTube channel? So it's more like what you ordered versus what you got. It's not easy, let me just say that. YouTube is not easy. That is why some people have it as a full-time job, because conceiving the idea and executing the idea are really two different things. The effort in editing your video when you know it has to go up around a certain time, staying up late, A whole lot. YouTube is no joke. Let no one lie to you that it's easy creating a YouTube channel or it's easy being a YouTuber, and not to talk of the views that are so bad. Sometimes I post a video and I'm like, what is going on with the views? And other times I post a video and the views are skyrocketing. It's not the usual. So yes, I think YouTube, let's not lie to ourselves that YouTube is easy. Everybody can create a YouTube channel, but not everybody can sustain a YouTube channel. What's your best video? I have 2 videos for this question. That's the minimalistic room makeover vlog and the never have I ever book edition with my friends. The vlog, because that was the first time I vlogged and the experience was really exciting. And the never have I ever video, because I did it with my friends outside of my comfort zone or my safe space, and the whole thing was fun. The whole experience was fun. So I think those 2 videos pretty much are my best videos so far. Which video do you like the least? I filmed a get to know me Q&A in 2020, and I just feel like the answers weren't mature enough, or I wasn't mature enough, and I hadn't experienced so much to have answered those questions. So it kind of feels flat to me. So that's not my best video. That's like my least. I'm not proud. I'm not proud about that video. What tools do you use for making your videos? So I'm going to talk about the equipment, and I'm going to talk about the apps or the software I use. So for the equipment, I said in my previous video, I film with my iPhone XR. I use a Benro T560 tripod, and I have 2 ring lights and a microphone. And for the apps, I use Velo, iMovie, and Adobe Rush. But now I'm using Velo because I feel like the updates and the upgrades are doing wonders, and so I've just thrown iMovie and Adobe Rush somewhere. And when it comes to the thumbnails, designing my thumbnail, I use PixArt. I used to use Canva, but PixArt makes me do a lot more, and then it brings my creative process out. So yeah, I'm using PixArt more now. Tips on lighting. So I'm not going to talk like a professional here. Obviously, I'm also learning, but what I know is use sunlight more. Make use of sunlight. Get a good lighting source. For me, I have 2 ring lights, and so that is what I depend on when there's no sunlight. Go back 2 years. Will you do it again? Yes, I will. Even though it's tiring, even though it's exhausting, even though sometimes I feel like giving up. How have your habits changed since you started the channel? Do you read more books? Have your preference in genre changed? My preference hasn't changed at all, except that now I read other genres aside thriller, and my reading has really improved. Before starting the channel, I didn't care about the number of books I read in a year, but now I have a reading goal. Last year, for instance, my reading goal was to read 30 books, and then I ended up reading 64 books. This year, my reading goal is to read 35 books. So there's been so much improvement, and I think the reason being that I need to keep putting out content out there, and if I do not read, my channel is book based. If I do not read, how do I put content out there? Will you do things differently if you started today? Yes, I will. First, I'm going to get a tripod. Second, I'm going to invest in a microphone. Has it been worth the effort so far? It has. It's been so beneficial. I'm a videographer, I'm a photographer, I am a video editor, I am a graphic designer. I'm doing 4 people's job. It's amazing. I can't thank myself enough for putting me in such a creative space. Will you encourage others to create booktube channels? Yes, I will. And especially if you are Ghanaian and you love books, please do create a booktube channel, because there aren't a lot of Ghanaian booktubers. And this story is, before I created this channel, I watched a lot of booktubers, and sadly, there were no Ghanaian booktubers. there were black YouTubers and black American, and so it was so sad because there wasn't anything close to home, anything relatable. So I think, yes, if you're Ghanaian and you love books, please do create a booktube channel so that we can form like another community on booktube where would encourage and uplift each other. So yes, this brings me to the end of this Q&A. I'm sorry if my energy is low. I'm not too well, so yeah, but I was hoping to film this video anyways. So I'll catch you on another video where I feel so much better. Bye guys.